Shit. You know how it goes. Mercury retrograde is in full effect. Yay. Well, me too. Me too. But I also acknowledge that, this was a time versus money thing. Because we got one, two, three, four, five. 5 of the 10 planets are in retrograde. I mean, damn. That's a lot of retrograde. That is a lot. So, but you know what? It's also a good time for endings. We'll talk more about it um, live on the show. I mean, if you're going to end something, you want something to stop, this will be a good opportunity to see why it's not working. So you can make that change. I did send you some music. We're just going to break that up through the whole show. Yeah, move aside. Let the man come through. Let the man come through. Yeah. Yep. That's the only one I'm using. I'm not working that hard anymore. Just like keep it simple. Thank you. Danny, how you doing? I'll see you on Saturday, right? It's gonna be fun. Hello, 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 and welcome to Spiritual Life Coaching with Ari Mac. I'm your host, Ms. Ari McIntyre, spiritual life coach, affirmation aromatherapy candle maker, and life changer. I like to say life changer. If you can change your mind, guys, then you can change your life. So I thank you guys for joining me this December 12th, 2024. As we end this year, I want you guys to know I've helped hundreds of people attain their personal goals through my techniques, through my affirmations, my aromatherapy, and the astrology. Because astrology is real. If you look at the stars, they're real. And it's not against any religion, any different set. I know people have things about worshiping things. Not asking you to do any of that. Hi, Musa on YouTube. I'm broadcasting live on Instagram under Canvas by Ari and YouTube. Because I'm working with my YouTube channel. I know it's a 12-hour difference in the world, but we keep moving. So thank you guys for joining me on the YouTube. Today we're going to talk about time versus money. And I do have some astrology. We do have Mercury still in retrograde. Guys, we got Mercury in retrograde, Mars in retrograde, which doesn't happen that often. Uranus in retrograde in Taurus. Pluto is still in Aquarius. And then Chiron is doing its retro. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's like 5 major planets going into a retrograde. Okay? Now, I know, because I've been putting on fires all freaking week, that time and money is the most important thing. I get that, because you have an abundance of either. If you don't have a lot of money, you have a lot of time. If you have a lot of time, you got to allocate the money appropriately. Correct? Okay. So this energy that's coming down from this retro is to smack you in your ass. Yeah, it's to smack you in your ass. Because it's time for us to wake up, okay, and try to figure out what we're doing down here on this planet. You as an individual, though. I'm not talking about you trying to tell other people what to do and try to run roughshod over somebody else's decisions. I'm talking about you taking ownership of your choices. Now, I've given you affirmations for a very long time, so I'm not going to put an affirmation out today, because if you want it, go to my candle company, Candles by Ari. The affirmations are on the candles. Okay, but I need you to open your eyes, open your ears, and I need you to listen to me, because this retrograde, especially in Sagittarius is a sign of truth. By the way, I got to say happy birthday to all my Sages, but especially one by the name of Alexandra, who gave birth to me. And I thank you, Mama. I thank you for your love. I thank you for your support. I thank you for believing in me. And I thank you for being my mom. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So happy birthday to my mom. So you guys give a quick shout out and send love to my mom, because without her, I would not be the woman I am today. Now, on my YouTube, if you feel the need to say something silly, you can keep it to yourself, because all I'm going to do is ignore you. Yeah, I'm going to ignore you because you obviously have nothing else to do besides say silly things. So good luck with that. Okay? All right. So we're going to talk about this retrograde. We're going to talk about how we need to connect so our inner strength is stronger, right? So that we're creating the world we need for ourselves. And that's not in denial of what's going on in the real world. Okay. And let me just say, because like I said, I've been putting out fires all week. I've had clients that's had hell of a weeks because of this retrograde and it being the holidays and just overall feeling the pressure of wanting to give and wanting to be a part of something, and, you know, just the election bullshit. I mean, it was just so many things that have gone on, and we got to slow down. You got to slow down and get these senses together, because all that stuff is still going to be going on. Okay? With or without you, the world is still going to turn. So it's better it turns with you being in it in a sane position than you being a little nutty and making really, really poor choices. Like choices that will bite you in your ass for decades to come. Not years, decades. Simply because you didn't take some time out and think about, what am I doing? Why am I saying that? See, I can honestly say that my people, the people that I have worked with, the people that I have over the years seen develop into whatever it is that they were going for, the common denominator that I saw all of them is they listened to my coaching. We created affirmations. I looked at their actual birth charts and gave them a heads up as when certain energies was coming down. See, this is a technique, guys. This is a specialty. It's not something that everybody can do. I happen to be fascinated with it because I think God gave us all what we need to survive. I think he gave us plenty, and an intellect and a free will to do what we want. Yet somehow you're depressed. Nothing works out. Everything always goes wrong. Somebody's always messing with me. I have a hex on the family. I can't seem to pull my head out of my ass. Everything just is wrong. Sound familiar? I can't seem to get ahead. Nobody loves me. And then the deep, deep, deep part of night when you start sedating yourself. Now, you know, I'm all about self-soothing, especially if it's in a healthy way that doesn't cause you or anybody around you any harm. But even when you self-soothe, you got to be paying attention to what's coming out of your mouth. You got to listen to what is being said. Because let me tell you something. Change is happening, whether you like it or not. Now, sometimes it can be beautiful. We encouraged it. We made it happen. Other times, not so beautiful. That's why I developed my candle company along with my one-on-one services, because I know the importance of keeping that mental balance, especially when you're at a critical point in your life where you got to make some decisions. See, I know what it's like to feel like you're completely alone and nobody understands you. Now, that may be true for you because you push people away. Okay, because that's the truth a lot of times, is that we don't want to let the love in. Maybe it's not in the picture we want. It's not the image we want. You know, I had a client for years, he was a male client, who poo-pooed any woman that wasn't a certain height, a certain weight, with certain hair and a certain eye color. Now, I'm all about having a specific direction. There's nothing wrong with having a goal and an idea of what you think you would care for. Nothing wrong with that. But that's not what he was attracting. He wasn't attracting that. And I had to point out to him that the majority of the women that he dated were not in that category. They were not the height. They were not the weight. They didn't have the hair color, and they didn't have the eye color. So he finally had to stop and ask himself, why am I saying I want XYZ, but then I'm dating JKF. What's wrong with that picture? But we went back. We did a lot of work on his psyche, especially on his spiritual psyche, which is my specialty. And it turns out that his mother was the brunette. And he had a love and hate relationship with her. So everything that he was doing was based on what he saw or felt like his mother shoulda, coulda, and might have done. So he was actually punishing himself by saying he was not attracted to, let's just say, the brunette for the sake of argument, but that he wanted like the redhead or the blonde because he thought that would suit him better. And when he finally had to admit to himself, because I already knew it, I saw it in his chart, I saw it when we were discussing things, he was not being realistic with his choices. He finally had to admit to himself that that image, even though he thought for years that would be his pinup girl, was something he accepted as a teenage boy looking at posters and thought, yeah, that's going to be my wife. Yeah, that's what I want. But in reality, the person who cared for him, that reared him, the person who's been there for him, did not look like that. So his head was saying one thing, but his spirit was saying something completely different. Can you guys relate to that? Do you think that you are spiritually asking for one thing and then attracting something else? Time and money. Okay? Those are the two factors that's going to play into how you're going to do what you're going to do. Because your money is your time is your money. That's what we barter with when we go to hourly wage jobs. That's what you encourage when you decide to start a new project on your own. You want to take that time and make more money. Or you want to spend some time making money that's worth your time, correct? Well, it's the same thing with universal law, guys. You can't ask spirit for one thing and then prepare for something else. Okay? That's the challenge. You're saying you want health. We use health, for example. Like I said, I've been putting out fires this week. Everybody wants to be healthy, want to be skinny. Well, maybe your body type, you can only be a certain level of skinniness. Maybe your tone, your bone structure, all that happy stuff, maybe doesn't fit into a size 1 or a size 2. Now, I'm going to be real with you. I grew up in a beauty shop. My grandmother was a beautician. So I got a chance to see all the magazines with all of the different people looking beautiful and the couture and all that stuff. You know what my grandmother told me? And I love this woman, and I'm so thankful she passed through my life. I was never going to look like any of those chicks in those magazines. She basically told me, you ain't never going to look like that. You ain't going to wear those clothes. None of that stuff that they're putting on is going to look the same on you. And I said, okay, just you have a different body type. And the person that they're promoting is not in your gene pool. Do not hurt yourself to try to be something you're not. Accept your fine ass the way that you are and accentuate that. Don't hide from that. Own it. And that's what I remembered. That's what I remembered. So as I grew and changed and became my own person, I have to tell you, I never questioned my body type. I never sit back and said, oh, I wish. Yeah, of course, you always want to be healthier. Who doesn't? But that doesn't mean you have to give up who you are right now. Own that shit. All right, you got to let this go through. I want you to sink this. I want you to drip in it. I want you to absorb it. Now, we have to take a little bit of break. We're on k4hd.com, which I have an announcement for that toward the end. We got some astrology coming up, and we got way more information. So come back on after the break. All right? Oh, my goodness. No, we'll stop duty. It's Trump and mature save the world. Okay. I made some Jamaica, which is a hibiscus flower. And I have to tell you, this is so thirst quenching. Oh my goodness. I use agave in it. Oh, delish. Now, I am going to be leaving k4hd.com at the end of this year. So this broadcast will be coming live in a different format because we're going to be dropping down to more 30-minute formats instead of the full hour. And the show will be coming up more often on iHeart. And if you are following me, please share, because I'm going to be putting this out, that we are going to definitely be changing in 2025. A lot of growth, a lot of new opportunities. And for you guys out there, I'm ready to do battle for your soul. I'm ready to throw down to help you achieve the goals you want. But you got to do the work. Okay, you got to put the time in, because it's all about choice. Okay, some choices are better than others. Some choices just suck. And that's okay. That's a part of the learning process. When you look at your time and you look at your space, you use that time wisely, you can create whatever you want. Whatever you want. And that's the true essence of being happy. Living well. Don't believe me, just watch. It's K4HD.com, spiritual coach Ari Mac. And we're live on YouTube under spiritual coach Ari Mac, and on my Instagram under Candles by Ari. Thank you, Danny, for joining. Thank you, Giselle. Thank you guys over. I can't see all your names over in the YouTube, but thank you guys for joining me as well. Now, I was talking to the people in between the break. I am leaving K4HD.com at the end of this year. So I think we got maybe 2 more episodes. And then we will be streaming, but we'll be streaming live on the YouTube. And we're going to be doing more with the RSS feed. So please look for that. Make sure you guys are following me. Okay? Because I'm on all the social medias, and I'm going to primarily be working more with my YouTube. Not sure about TikTok. Because I think TikTok's going bye-bye in January or something like that. We got a lot of shifts coming up. So I'm just trying to anticipate being able to reach you guys directly with new products, new services, and put more money into that going into the new season. And with the retrogrades that we got going, which I'll have something for each of the signs toward the end of the episode, it's just a great time for us to review all this good stuff. Okay, so if you have been using affirmations and you have been following me, then you need to be honest with which affirmation resonates the best with you. Okay, which affirmation did you see a clear results? Now, I affirm all the time. I'm constantly affirming for parking spaces, for banking, for love, for light. Have to tell you, when I'm not affirming, it gets a little weird. Just to be honest with you, things go a little bit wonky, because what I'm doing is I'm allowing the outside energy to overwhelm me and not owning what I'm trying to do on the inside, if that makes any sense. So when you're using your affirmation, this is one of the things I'm going to be teaching in the Manifestation Bootcamp coming up. And it will be a part 3 in a series, but we got some specials for the first part 1 and 2. So make sure you're following me. Candles by Ari on all the social medias. That's Facebook, Instagram, even on TikTok. But on my YouTube, it's Spiritual Coach Ari Mac. Okay? So please make sure you're following and get in my ecosystem, because you're going to like what you're going to be hearing. I want to do more interaction. I want you guys to see how affirmation works. And I have a hell of a lot of testimonials from people who have manifested. Okay? So going back to this episode, time versus space, what is Mercury retrograde teaching you? Now, I gave you the example of you're affirming for one thing, and then you're preparing for another. I give you another example. I'm using the yellow. Well, I actually made a custom candle. It's a yellow, orange, and red, because I need to communicate. I need to be creative, and I need to use my courage and my determination, because I'm not going to be where I am this time next year. I'm going to be in a heavenly better place, and it's going to be awesome, because I'm already projecting to my future self what all we need to do to allow that. Hear me say this, allow that to manifest, because it's all about dealing with your challenges, guys. If something disturbs you, if something's bothering you, that's the universe talking to you. Now, your job, your responsibility, your obligation is to find out, what the fuck is it? What is it that's annoying you? What is it that's bothering you? And if you don't have a spiritual counselor to talk to, please go to my website, candlesbyari.com, or spiritualcoacharimac.com. Okay? Because I have no problems helping you as long as you're committed and you do your part. Set up a session. Okay? My one-on-ones are, and if you decide to do your natal chart, which is a birth chart, that gives me more insight and you as to where you are and where you're trying to go in this future. Because we definitely got some massive transformational things happening down here on Earth. And I do know we have a certain level of mental illness. It's true. We have a certain level of disconnect. I've been hearing stories all week about people that just, they don't connect. They don't feel needed. They don't feel wanted. They're going into business luncheons and dinners, and they do not feel a connection to the people that they're working with. They go to do it because it's, cordial, but they're not there because they feel like they are a part of something. So there's an empty feeling that comes when you're giving your time, and yes, you're getting your money in return, but that's about it. That's about it. And the thing about human beings is that we like to be satisfied. We love entertainment. We love being excited. We love being passionate, and we definitely love attention. Do we not, as a whole, dig attention? There's nothing wrong with that. Admitting is half the battle. All right, admitting that that's something you need, want, and desire is half the battle of manifestation. But being honest with yourself, and how many of us just go by what we were taught? How many of us never even question some of the things now that we're old enough to see in different eyes that just simply, wasn't the truth? We were misled. So that's the beautiful part about where we are right now in humanities. I'm coming to you live on the internet under 3 different platforms at the same time. And if you can hear this broadcast, then you're being blessed as you said. Because that's all I'm doing is sending out love and light to you so that you can feel empowered, so that you can make a better choice. I have candles with affirmations. Go to candlesbyari.com right now. Those affirmations on those candles have worked for decades with my clients. We have classes. We have a mindful meditation class twice a month that literally all you have to do is show up and be quiet. That's it. Pay for your classes, show up, absorb the energy. Because usually it's something inside of you that you need to work on. I am going to be bringing back the color and fragrance class online so you can figure out your power colors. I'm even going to break down and do a vision board. That class is going to be a little bit more advanced because I'm going to show you how to do the vision board. Then I want you guys to share with me, what did you do with your vision board? Okay, so that's a little bit more advanced. But more importantly, guys, it's about growth. Because with the time we have here on Earth, yeah, you can spend it worrying and being upset all the time and disappointed because God knows, things don't necessarily go the way we plan. But you also have the power to learn. I have a client that's been in her job for 17 years. She works for a state. And in this last year or so, since the pandemic, her department is being rearranged. Now, nobody told her it was being rearranged. It's happening. So she recently got put into a position where the job is more clerical than what she actually is designed to do. Now, this hurts because after 17 years of doing one particular job, to have that change is devastating. And there's some history behind it. Her boss did die, and so a lot of things went through transformation. But you know what my client is going through? She's going through the realizations of her value. What she brings to the table. And I think, especially with women, we always want to apologize for something or feel like we should give more. And I'm like, why? If you're doing a fair job and you're doing the best you can, yeah, it's good to be the best. Absolutely. But it's also good to know your value and the value of what you're given. I'm going to say it again. It's important to know the value and the value of what you're given, because ain't nobody going to overpay you guys. Yeah, nobody's going to say, I'm going to throw you some extra money because you did such a great job. It does happen. Don't get me wrong. Once upon a time, because I was watching Lampoon's Vacation with Chevy Chase, and in that movie, his character was banking on his bonus at the end of the year as a part of his salary so he could go buy something for his family. That's the way it was. If you worked for a company and you did a great job for the company, at some point they may compensate you by giving you, my microphone is acting up today, by giving you Christmas bonuses or, extra money for thank yous. Now, I'm not going to say it still doesn't happen, but I've noticed that it's been more of a delay. Instead of at Christmas time, maybe they give it to you in March of the following year. I mean, it still happens, but it'd been nice at Christmas. Or in some cases, they just don't give them at all anymore. Bottom line is everything's changing. So my client had to make some decisions because obviously they were making decisions for her and it wasn't to her liking. But sometimes you got to go through that, sometimes you got to move aside and let stuff go through. Just let it go through. You don't have to sit there and fight it. Just let it go through. All right. It's spiritual coach Ari Mac. I'm on K4HD Live. I'm also on Instagram, but I'm about to jump over on TikTok, Instagram. So if you want to meet me over there, that'd be cool. YouTube, I'm going to keep going. I'll see you after break. Hey now. I'm heading over to YouTube. See me over there, okay? Bye. Whew. Hey, girly. Hold on. I'm setting up on the TikTok. And we're back. Hey, Danny. Don't believe me, just watch. It's spiritual coach Ari Mac, K4HD.com. I was talking today about time versus money. And of course, retrograde fallout, what is it teaching you? All right. So I want you to sit back and I want you to think about where your goals are right now. Okay. So it's like, what are you trying to make happen? Thank you, Danny. It is. It's so true. What is it that you want to see manifest in your life? Because that's always the challenge, right? Is actually seeing manifestation. I actually had a client, this is a true story, who wanted a contract with the city. She wanted a contract with the city. She wanted a contract with the city. She wanted a contract with the city. I said, okay, well, let's pray on that. Let's make that happen. Well, sure as tootin', she goes to a public community meeting, and it seems like the officers for the city were there. She pitches them the idea, right? And they go, okay, cool. Can you get back to us on Monday so we can vote it on it and blah, 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 blah. She went home and literally freaked herself out so bad that she called them and told them they'd have to postpone to 2025. Now, I didn't say anything because she came to me later. This is after everything was decided and she had already made her choices. And she said to me, I know we were manifesting. I know you were concentrating on me having the opportunity to actually be a part of this bigger company that she wanted to join up with. But she said, you know what happened to me, Ari? As I got closer to that door and I started walking in, I started having a complete anxiety attack. Like I couldn't breathe and I started sweating and my hands started melting. Hands started, perspiring. And I thought to myself, who do I think I am? How dare I try to step to this major company and give them la 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 la. Totally psyched herself out. Totally psyched herself out. So by the time she got to the person, guys, she was already done for. He didn't even have to say anything. Basically said, let's go forward and let's do it. And she was like, oh, hell no. No, 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 no. La, 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 la. And came up with all these reasons why. Now, she's a truth student. So she acknowledged that she was making a hard choice. Ah, thank you. Love you all. Love you too. Okay, because this is the hard part. When you're asking for manifestation and you are preparing for it, not asking for it and then preparing for sabotage. See, that's a big old difference. Because you're saying to God, to spirit, the universe, Buddha, whatever you want to call it, this is what I need in my life. This is what I want in my life. And so then they start setting the place up, moving other things out of the way, making it easier for you to have whatever this is that you're asking for. But guess what happens, guys? Because the stars are in full effect. If you're not really genuinely prepared, like let's just say you talk a good talk. You talk a damn good talk. And everybody's got your number. And you start running into bumps in the road. Which could be normal for whatever field you're in because you're not the master yet. You will be, but you're not there yet. You have to take those bumps and you have to use them to your advantage. You have to take those opportunities, what I call of learning, because obviously you didn't think this was going to happen, right? So your mindset wasn't set on failure. It was set on progression, manifestation, achievement. And then this shit happens. See, this is where the spiritual coaching comes in. This is where it comes in. Because had my client just stopped, looked at her affirmations that we personally came up with her, she could have turned that situation around. And why I say she could have? Because she was convinced. She told me she was ready to do it. In our last session, she was hell-bent on allowing whatever this was in this project to manifest. And it presented itself, guys. It showed up. The universe said, here, baby, there you go. And you know what she did? And fell backwards. See, I'm a spiritual life coach. I specifically work with spirit. That's why spiritual life coach is in the name, spirit. Okay? Because literally, if you don't have a connection to your spirit, you're done for it. You can still achieve, but I find it to be a little bit more dry. You're not as much fun, and you got a little bit of an attitude. Just a little bit, because you have to work so hard and you have to do so much, and nobody understands shit that you go through but you, because you're just working so hard. That whole narcissistic thing, because that's the other thing you can get caught up in, is that you start thinking you're the only one, no one else could ever understand. All BS. It's all bullshit, guys. It's all bullshit. If you actually research, talk to, look out into this world, there ain't nothing new under the sun. Nothing. There's nothing the universe hasn't seen before, including your darkness and that ugliness that you don't like to show to anybody. Yet it's a part of who you are. Because everybody got an ugly side. Sorry. You know. You may think you're kind and cool, but everybody got that little button. And when you push that button, you start seeing their assets. Because they can't control themselves, and everybody has one. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you think. See, I'm trying to shatter that image in your head of what you think you are, but accept who you are and where you are, so that you can grow, so you can take your time and your money, or your time and money, and put it together. Because right now we're walking what's called the dark nights of the soul. Okay? And that's when your heart has to be clearly on what you want. And I know there's a lot of shit going on. I am aware. I've been putting out fires. I was so exhausted last night. I fell asleep at 7 o'clock in the afternoon, early evening, just because I had back-to-back situations and issues. And yes, the Mercury retrograde will be ending tomorrow. Well, we still have fallout for 5 days. Now, getting into this astrology thing, the sun's in Sagittarius, but it will be tiptoeing next week into Capricorn, which is all about career, business, money, the whole lights. Mercury in retrograde is still going to be going on to the 14th, and Mercury is in the sun sign of Sagittarius. So Sag is running the sun, and Mercury right now. Now, this is where I'm going to advise you guys to watch your tongue. Just watch your tongue. Because Sagittariuses are truth seekers. They rule justice, okay? Learning, higher learning, that kind of connection. So they also will whip your ass. I'm just giving you straight up. They're the only mutable in all the fire signs. So they could be the most generous, loving people, but they also be the ones to take that tongue they got and slice your ass into a million pieces. I shid you not. Shid you not. I grew up with the Sag. My best friends are Sag. So the closest people to me are Sagittarius. I have a lot of it in my chart. So they want truth. They want clarity as much as you can give them at that moment. I appreciate you too. I'm glad you guys are taking note of this information. Because like I said, I will be leaving K4HD at the end of this year. So I have maybe 1 or 2 more broadcasts. And then I'm going to be independent. So look for my RSS feed, still on iHeart, and on my YouTube channels. So I'm going to be doing more of a 30-second spots, because then I can concentrate on hearing what you guys have to say and giving you guys feedback, and also help you understand how my products work for the guys. How does the candles, the meditations, the affirmations, astrology, how it actually pivots into your life for your day-to-day existence. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if I didn't have the knowledge I had, I don't know if I'd be who I am, and I definitely wouldn't be further along. I would be further along because I believe in spirit. I believe in, the whole church thing. That's all cool and fine and great. But I also believe God gave us intuition, and he gave us 5 senses and a 6th one in the form of love. Because when you love something, no matter what happens, you could rise above it. You see it with mothers, true mothers and fathers with their children. They will rise above it no matter what. They're going to rise above it, right? So when you have a love for something, and I just want you guys to fall in love with yourselves in a positive way. In a positive way. That's why I've given you so many affirmations in the past. I'm not giving you any more because I've given enough. Now you guys are going to have to use what I gave you, or you're going to have to go to candlesbyari.com, and you're going to have to look up the affirmation and actually use it there. Now, because I've been doing this for so long, these particular candles are made with intent. Yeah, they're made with intent. And for my personal use today, I got a yellow with orange and red. Yellow for communications, orange for my creativity, and my red for my determination and my courage. Okay? To keep me moving forward. Now, I already gave you affirmations before, so whatever it is that you remember, you can say that one to yourself right now. I'm asking for divine guidance and courage and love. I'm setting this candle off. Because sometimes we just got to go through it, guys. All right, so we got another break. I think we got one more segment. It's Spiritual Coach Ari Mac, K4HD.com. Also live on YouTube under Spiritual Coach Ari Mac, and TikTok under Candles by Ari. Come on back after break. Woo! My goodness. With this information that we have coming down, I'm thinking that a monthly newsletter with my take on the spiritual aspects of astrology would be appropriate. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be looking for, I'm going to be putting together an actual, not a newsletter, because you're going to have to decide if you want this. So you're going to have to join it, probably like for $9, $10 a month, something like that. And it's going to break down each sign and the affirmation and all that stuff that goes along with it. Because we're going to definitely need it. We're definitely going to need this. Because I'm looking at this configuration. Whew. It's not death, guys, as much as restructuring. And in May, when Saturn enters Aries and leaves our lovely Pisces alone, you guys need to be ready to initiate. You need to be ready to get in there and make that happen. Because that's going to be like kicking in with that Pluto and Aquarius. It's transformational. So make sure you are following me. Make sure you get yourself some candles. And you tune in because you're going to need the help. All right, here we go. Last segment. And we're back on k4hd.com and streaming live under YouTube under Spiritual Coach Ari Mac and on TikTok under Candles by Ari. Thank you guys for joining me. I appreciate you. This segment, I'm going to go over a little bit of astrology. I'm going to miss you guys. I'm not going to lie. This weekly show for the last 8 years has been one of my joys. But I think it's time for me to grow. And I think it's time for us to grow as an audience. And this format is not... it's just time to grow. So please make sure that you guys are following me and make sure you're connecting with me. I promise you, it's totally worth it. If you want to improve your psyche, if you want to achieve your personal goals, and you know that mentally you are in it, that mental health, you guys, is priceless. Don't let anybody take that away from you. All right? Your mental health is God's gift to you. So you can make a choice that's informed, so you can move toward your personal goals. Nobody has to give you permission to do that. You just have to decide, is you ready? Are you going to do it? And if you are, hey, let's do it. Starts here and here. Your heart, your mind, that connects you to the universe. Haven't you noticed that when you think about something for a certain amount of time, something in that area starts happening? I mean, haven't you ever thought about how you start, getting hungry for certain things? Next thing you know, it pops up on your radar. Now the phones have algorithms, so it'll help you because it knows what you like. But nevertheless, that's divine design where energy's flowing to you. Now, I know it's a bit choppy. Mercury and Sag, like I said, retrograde, Sun and Sag, they whip asses. I can't, hey. But also, guys, it's a good time for truth. Like my client, who's been at a state company for 17 years. All she needs is 3 more years and she can retire with full benefits. And now they choose to start moving her job around. Yeah, that's exasperating. Oh, yeah, she's in hell. Oh, and she definitely wants to kick somebody's ass, just for the record. But she can't. Not now. We're in retro. I told her, no. This whole thing started during a retrograde. So it's just revealing to her right and left what these people think of her work and her progression, because they don't see it being a big deal. And a lot of people do that, guys. They underestimate the simplicities, and they start thinking that because they have money that they can demand. And I'm not saying you can't get what you want when you have money. I just know you may not get it the way that you want. Feel me? You can push to make people do what you want. You can manipulate them. But if they truly in their heart do not respect you, do not like you, and don't look at you as a professional asset, then guys, you got nothing. You know what I'm saying? Zip, zillo, nillo, nada, big old egg. Yeah, you get what you want, but are you satisfied? So looking at this, I would say Sagittarius is all my fire signs, you're in rare form. So if things are stressing you out, it's because you're in rare form and you want to, call that in. Venus is in Aquarius. It's going to enter Pisces on January 2nd, which should be nice. But Venus being Aquarius makes it very detached. So our love right now, it's being analyzed. Mars is retrograding in Leo. Mars will never retrograde a lot, guys. So I ain't even going to try to elaborate. But Mars is how we love. Venus is how we fall in love. But Mars is the action of how we actually love. And Mars being in Leo going backwards, Leos, you may have to, step it up. Like I said, fire is on fire. All right. But with both retroing and Sag and Leo, you may want to watch that mouth. Or the actions you take, make sure you do a couple of research, reignite before you release the information. Jupiter is in Gemini going backwards. Gemini is the opposite sign that Jupiter normally runs. Jupiter is normally in Sag. That's his ruling planet, ruling sign. So being in Gemini, a lot of talking. So listen more than you speak right now, guys. You can find out a lot more. Saturn in Pisces. Like I said, in May, it's going to move into Aries. That should be very interesting. It's giving Pisceans that extra structure. And for the water sign people, your dreams are pretty dang clear if you want to pay attention to them, because that structure is there. It may not be the fun stuff, but it's needed to build a foundation for you to grow. Uranus retrograding in Taurus. Now that's interesting because that's like an Aquarius and a Taurus going backwards. And when I look at Venus in Aquarius, I'm not going to try to drive you crazy, but you may have some past lovers show up. You may realize some things about a previous relationship you forgot about, just things of that nature. And with Uranus being in Taurus, Taurus is ruled by Venus. So it likes things pretty. It likes things nice. Uranus is unexpected. So it may be some unexpected niceties or unexpected bullshit. It just depends. So keep that in mind. Neptune in Pisces. Now, this is one of my favorite positions for Pisces because it's native. Neptune rules Pisces, so that's very, very comfortable. And it's going to be there till March 2025. So that's the little relief we have, is that Pisces being a compassionate sign, ruling spirituality and trining Saturn in Pisces, it gives that extra spiritual strength, which is why I'm talking to you guys about coming together with me. Let's say come together right now over me. I hear the music. So all I'm saying is, if you want to grow spiritually, if you really, really, really are tired of being where you are, mentally, psychologically, emotionally, and you're ready to invest in self, because this is going to take work and time. And money, yes. But in the end, if you can have your freedom, if you could create the things that you want, if you can feel less encumbered by dumb shit because you don't have to deal with it, isn't that worth it? Let's just think about it. What is your sanity worth? What is your mental well-being? What does it cost for you? Do you have to get beat all the way down for you to learn your lessons? I mean, do you have to just get bitch slapped? And I see it. I got friends that keep doing the same things. I don't say anything. I get a nice Coke and some popcorn and I enjoy the show. Why? Because everybody's got to learn in their own way, and I cannot tell somebody their way is wrong. I can make suggestions because, of course, I'm on the outside. Everything's 2020. Oh, you can just see so clearly. But when you're in it, when you're actually forced to process all of this stuff, it's a different set of circumstances now, isn't it? It's not as easy just to walk away and say, screw that, especially when you're emotionally invested. So take the time now, guys, and really be open with yourself. You don't have to tell anybody anything. That's why we have the journal. You can journal, use the affirmations I've given to you guys in the past. Go to candlesbyari.com. Get yourself some candles. Okay, just look at the color meaning page. It broke it down. I kept it simple, very simple. But the affirmations on those candles have worked for decades. I'm living proof, and so are a lot of my clients. See, we help you connect to that higher power so that you can stop feeling alone and desperate and like nothing's ever going to work. That's not possible. Spirit does not work that way. But your heart has to be clear. Your mind has to be open. And you have to be ready to make some choices and changes. And it doesn't matter how old you are. Doesn't matter about your sexual orientation. Doesn't matter about your gender. None of that. You know what matters? That you're ready to get past the dumb shit. Like something inside of you has finally said, enough. I do not need to keep with the pity party. I do not need to keep asking myself why. It looks like a duck. It smells like a duck. Most likely it's a goddamn duck. But we have to own that. We have to own that. So in order for us to make this world a little bit better, we got to start with ourselves. So I got to ask you, what are you doing to hinder you from being the best you that you can be? What's standing in your way that's not helping you create the lifestyle that you claim you want? Hey, if you need a Bentley, go for it. You need a big house, knock yourself out. The universe doesn't care. It's whatever you prefer. Yeah, it's never too late for transformation. Thank you, the Apple user on my TikTok. It's never too late. But it takes courage. I'm not going to lie. It's not something that you can just do. Yeah. But she's saying ready to be honest with yourself. Yeah. You have to be ready to be honest with yourself. And that's where spiritual coaching comes in, because sometimes you just need somebody just to hear you, not judge you, not question why you did what you did, because obviously you did it, but help you make peace with it. Help you harness what you learned from it so that you don't have to keep repeating that same thing. Unless, of course, you need your experience. There's nothing wrong with that. So here's what I'm going to ask for you guys. I need you to like and follow and share, especially if you have one or two friends that you know are in it. They may not be saying it, but you know they're having a hard time. Hell, you could be having a hard time. It happens, especially with the holidays and having a little bit more time. And it's always sad when you're reaching out to people and they're not reaching back. That's always a booger bear. But you don't have to go out that way. You don't. But you do have to make some decisions. Are you ready to receive your blessings? Are you ready to allow your blessings to come in? Be truthful. And if you're not, then ask yourself, what is standing in my way? Is it my mentals? Is it my physical? Is it my psychological? What is it? And own it, guys. Just own it. You don't have to do anything, but be real with you first so you can actually make that informed decision on where you're going to go next. But nobody can do that for you. Your family can love you. Your mom could just go out of her way and give her last breath to save you. But if your ass is not ready to make those choices, hey, I just showed you. It's in you. So thank you, guys. Don't forget to like, follow, and share Spiritual Coach Ari Mac, and look for more of myself on all my social medias. Stay blessed. Bye. Bye. Stay blessed.